Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're looking at the track Remember Me, which is the third single to be released from the upcoming album The Death We Seek by American metalcore band Currents. The band will be looking to continue building on the success of their previous album The Way It Ends, which did release in 2020. Since then the band have also made one lineup change in the form of Christian Polgarin taking over on bass duties, also providing backing unclean vocals as well. We've also seen two really strong tracks already released from this upcoming album in the form of Vengeance and the title track itself, The Death We Seek. So will this new track be a constant thought or a fading memory? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds. Okay, quite an interesting thing we have got here. We have got what feels like a slightly lower tempo intro than what we've seen on the previous two tracks released from the upcoming album. And I like the idea of it's almost like that silence, and it kind of this is shown through the video, that idea of coming awake, and that's when the instruments really do kick in. So it's almost like that idea of suddenly you're being brought awake by something. So I know it only shows through the video, but it's interesting how they mix that in with the actual styling on the track. Okay, I really like this first couple of lyrics that we have got here. I can sense it, the world I love is gone. So straight I'm getting this idea that this track is going to be about the kind of idea of evolution, the way the world is heading. It could be either through war or different things. It can just be evolution in technology. It can revolve around a lot of different things. We haven't kind of got into the meat and bones of it yet. But the idea of the blood is on the walls, the damage has been done, makes me feel it's kind of this, maybe tied in around the idea of war or something like that. Just irreparable damage that you can't really reverse.
We carry the weight of selfless scars. We silently crave upon a pedestal. Why place our pain?
Okay, I like the way we're kind of getting into those aggressive vocals, just really as we're getting to the end of the first verse, and kind of this idea of bringing pain into the mixture, and that lyric kind of gives away the possibility that we're looking at the way that everyone has a negative outlook in today's world. The selfless scars we silently crave, we kind of crave that pain, that negativity, and it's something that's spread very heavily through things such as the news, kind of social media as well, so that can tie in with this developing world, and we're kind of really pulling each other apart, or really just what kind of driving a lot of negativity in today's world. Okay, I really like that verse. The idea of like you can get effectively stung, you can take the snake away, you can get the venom out, but that's the infection is effectively there. We're definitely seeing this revolving around the idea of negativity. It can kind of fester on somebody, even though you can kind of try and avoid it. It's really hard to avoid when the entire world is revolving around that same concept. And again, it could tie in with this idea of the misinformation that you're being fed, burning your brain. We see a lot of tracks talking about this over recent times. The idea of all this misinformation really bringing everybody down, and it's just something that a lot of bands, especially metal bands, seem to really be honing in on and focusing on. I like the way they've used the venom idea with the snake, and just kind of that idea again. It's a serpent is often something used as a metaphor in music to kind of show someone that was willing to backstab, or something that's kind of corrupt, or was certainly just kind of quite venomous at times and very poisonous. So I like they're throwing in a lot of these lyrics to really kind of show that about it swelling and it stinging. So it's one of those things that grows over time as well. So really some interesting and smart lyrics being thrown into this verse.
It lies the weight of our regrets, sharpen the knives that cast our deepest traits of hate. Show me the love you've always wanted.
Okay, some really interesting lyrics again here, and I love the use of the sharpen the knives that cut through our deepest strings of hate. So this is definitely kind of tying into that idea of pulling people apart. When you cut the strings with somebody, so you're using a really sharp knife. Again, the idea of backstabbing. We've got the serpent as well. This is all really tying in nice. It's not quite 100% clear where they're taking this song and what they're really trying to focus on. There's a lot of different ways that you can really take it, depending on how you want to look at it. I really feel it's kind of like this idea of evolution in this world, and the way that we're all being torn apart through misinformation and negativity. That's really what it seems to be trying to throw at. But I just love the idea of sharpening the knife. Really simple, just things that really do work. You can imagine that real life situation of somebody sharpening it, stabbing you in the back, and the idea of using it to cut the strings as well is a common phrase that we do see, where it's often you cut ties with somebody or cut strings with somebody when you kind of cut them out of your life. Yeah, I really enjoyed that chorus. I like the switching between the heavier vocals and the kind of softer, clean vocals, and I love more of the lyrics that we have got here. All the love is gone. I like the idea that we can't go back to this world that we had. We're falling over ourselves. I love the lyric, how do we mourn what's lost, what will never be? So it's the idea of, we had something, how do we mourn what's gone in the past, and we're never going to return to that. So I definitely feel like it is definitely looking at the idea of technology, because it's something that's not going to go away. And maybe it's replying to the idea of the hate as well. Maybe the band doesn't feel that the hate is going to go anywhere and all this negativity is going to go away anytime soon. But one thing that's definitely sticking around is going to be technology. So I feel like it's tying on the idea of how technology is tearing us apart. More and more the lyrics are kind of aiming towards that idea.
Carry the weight of selfless scars. We silently crave. Show me your hands and touch the stars with me. You're never just on one path, one road to travel. It saves our story.
And I like the idea of the one road to travel. It seems like we're stuck in one direction. There is no opposite paths. There's no different way that we can go. We are stuck on this path to destruction. It's almost like what the band are really trying to convey. One thing I want to touch on is certainly the guitars. It does have a bit of a djent kind of genre feel to it at times, but I like how they're switching between that and the more melodic sections on the track. There is a lot of contrast and a lot of change going on in the background of this song, just really trying to mix it up. Kind of adds that idea of uncertainty, just really mixing these two styles together. And again, it's to do with that uncertainty of where the world is going and the direction it's taking.
It's infinite. We've just been pulling at the strings. Another never will be. We have exercised the will of parasites. We're not the birth of innocence.
Okay, so there's some quite impressive growling going on there and those really much heavier vocals. I love that line, we have exercised the will of parasites. So the idea maybe this is looking at maybe kind of the billionaires that are taking over the world by just kind of buying up everything and everything. We've kind of bought into their system effectively, and we're feeding the money that they are receiving, we're feeding the will, and the band consider them to be like parasites because there is no end to them. You can't get rid of them that easily. They just constantly keep growing and growing and growing. So again, just constant tiebacks to this idea of an evolving world and how it has changed over time. Quite interesting as well. We've got a lot of inclusive lyrics, and I really do like that the band have done this. The constant use of we really being driven pretty much throughout the entirety of the song, without the exception, I think, of the first line, and when we did that idea of I can sense it. So it's almost like the band are really telling a story. It's almost like they're giving that personal opinion in the opening lyric with the I can sense it, but the rest of it has all been we. It's been inclusive, we as a people effectively. So I like that they're really doing that, kind of saying that it's just not on one person to try and change the world, it's on everybody.
Carry the weight of selfless scars. We silently
Okay, I really liked these closing lyrics here. Going back into that first person, the reintroduction of you are my family. It's almost like the band are kind of telling this like kind of opening with an opening statement. They're telling a story and trying to kind of get people to wake up and kind of understand that the world is changing around us. And then they're closing with this idea of, like, certainly to the fans, that they are family and they don't want to see hate be kind of brought up and really kind of continue to be raised. So it's almost like they're trying to scream a message at you throughout this track. And I like the way they kind of open and close with a very personal line, making use of but the rest of the actual track is making use of we to kind of have that collectiveness effectively by really bringing everybody together. So nice to see that they've only used it on the start and end of the song. Okay, so that was certainly quite interesting. Definitely had some kind of more, I'd say more softer elements compared to the other two tracks that we have seen from this album so far, but some really interesting things. I do feel that at times the lyrics were a little bit encrypted. Even at times it was quite hard to pick out exactly which direction the band were going with it, because they were kind of trying to cover a lot of different things in one particular song. It definitely feels though that they are revolving around this idea of an Earth that is going in a wrong direction effectively, the advancement of technology, kind of billionaires, a lot of things really they're trying to hone in on, but they're not going into enough detail with the lyrics because they're trying to cover so much in a short space of time. But I like the attempt. I like the way that they kind of built the lyrics around some of these ideas, the idea of cutting ties, cutting strings, which was really nice. Some nice use of metaphoric lyrics that was really great to see. And musically, I like the idea of switching up a little bit, some of this djent kind of genre thrown in, some more elements that were a little bit more melodic, and the changing in vocals as well between unclean and clean, just especially more in the chorus as well, did help to make that chorus a little bit more melodic and really stand out a bit more as well. Aside from that though, I do think it was quite a strong track. Certainly had some really strong messages in there, some really strong vocals and musicianship as well, which is great to see. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the album does kind of fill out when that is released in May of this year. But that will be everything for today's video, so as always, please let me know your thoughts on the track in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially if you're a Currents fan. Do you prefer this track? Do you think it's the best of the three we've heard so far? And are you looking forward to the album? And if you want to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.